Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here. The NIV Life Application Study Bible, not just the NIV, but the Life Application Study Bible has been updated. And I think I read that about 30% of the things are new in it. So kind of expanded. Dave Veerman and Bruce Barton came out with this years ago in the 80s. It was originally for youth, and they do have a youth life application, but it just keeps on expanding. So this is the third edition. So we're going to take a look on the inside of this and just see. I'll read to you some of the features. Now more than 10,000 life application notes and features, illuminating introductions for every book, 100 life application profiles, over 100, more than 500 maps and charts placed for quick reference, refreshed design with second color for visual clarity, vital statistics. These are all just fantastic. Quality Smithsonian binding. For a hardback, that's one of the major things that hardbacks are doing now, is sewing their binding, not gluing their binding. Look at this. It used to be only the finest Bibles would lay flat in Genesis. This is Genesis 40 and 41. And it's laying flat. Now, I do want to give them some kudos here as well. Just their initial internal design. I mean, that's really nice. And let's see what it looks like without the slip cover. I know a lot of people like without the slip cover. This is Mark Taylor. I guess he's still there at Tyndale. Tyndale was kind of started because of Taylor, who did the Living Bible. And it sold so much that it became its own publishing house. And is now one of the big ones. And so, yeah, let's just look at this. I mean, that's just really nice. Has a spine stabilization page. You hear me mention this often. You never want to pull this apart. That is meant to stabilize the spine. But that is just a pretty design. Whoever designed it at Tyndale, we appreciate that design. Of course, I would be looking for a King James in this. I'm a King James guy, but it does come in the NLT and which that's a Tyndale thing. I'll show you the Smith sewing too. Looks so good. Maybe the NASB, NKJV, KJV, they come out. You know, with copyright, they had a real struggle for years, and that's starting to break down a little bit. But like the NKJV is copyrighted by Thomas Nelson, so to use it, you have to pay like $5 a Bible or $10 a Bible, which can exponentiate the cost of the Bible. So let's say if it costs Tyndale $5 extra to print, well then they charge another $5 to the Christian bookstore, and then they're going to charge you another $5 or $10 for sale. So it can up the price of a Bible by $20. Not always, but it can. This is the 2011 edition of the NIV, which is more gender neutral. So since it was first published in 1988, the Life Application Bible has undergone several significant updates. This new third edition includes a thorough update of the historic features, along with new and expanded content, the LASB even more relevant for your daily life, with a fresh teal color design, on and on and so forth. So that's good. Preface. See, when they did the Life Application Bible, when I say it was earth-shattering, it was earth-shattering. Because, I mean, before you even get into it, you have a chronology. And the chronological timeline not only gives you biblical events, but major secular events that are occurring at the same time. Let's see if I can flip this page. You know, it's not going to have gilt edging or anything because it's a hardback. But it's just, I mean, features like that in the 80s were unheard of. I mean, because you had Dake, Schofield, Thompson, you know, and we're just coming out. Liberty University had done a Bible, which is now the KJV2 Study Bible. It's the Liberty Study Bible, the Annotated Study Bible. You just didn't have, and so just this, like, so Julius Caesar, first emperor of Rome born, first Chinese ships reach east coast of India, ball bearings used in Danish cartwheels. So that's funny. I was thinking Danish cartwheels, but I know what they mean. Date written 1450 to 1410, which is a conservative date. That's another thing. Even though they don't give a date before Abraham, it's still pretty conservative, basic evangelical, and even in some cases fundamentalist dating. I would use Ussher's dates, but that's still considered conservative. So the introductions were fantastic. You had the Open Bible in the 80s too, with the best introductions. I suggested to Nelson they just make a book of introductions, and I think they did at one time. So this is just fantastic. Look here, when you get into the book, it's going to give you the key places of the book. And another thing it does is every time you change in location in the Bible text, it's going to give you a map that shows you that change of location. That's the reason I call the Life Application Bible still probably, you know, I've done a video on what's the best study Bible, and I did the Life Application. That was before the Premier. Now the Premier is going to be apostolic. Praise God, Pentecostal. But it's not going to have quite as many features in some ways as this. Side column references for ease of use. See, that was kind of innovative for the 80s as well. Excellent paragraph markers and divisions and all that. And just the size of the commentary. Just an enormous amount of commentary. Looks like it could be maybe a little readable, more readable print. I'm not sure of that. It looks like it. The drawback to the Life Application has been twofold. One is the size of print, readability, and second is portability. It's a rather large Bible. It's not huge. I'm going to say it's not as big as an ESV study Bible, at least in thickness. It's not that huge. But you can just see all the study helps. And it's in a single column format, which I enjoy. Some people don't. You know, as far as reading, I've learned so much from people over the years, you know, sharing this information. I greatly appreciate it. Blog posts and all this. That, so, like, the ideal length of letters before you start a new line is like 22 letters. So this is going to be more than that, but it's more like the original in a sense. In that, you know, the original probably wasn't written with verses and all this. To our knowledge, it wasn't. We don't have the originals. But I'm like Ishmael, maps, Cave of Machpelah. I mean, just good stuff. And so I know when I sold Bibles, when I'd compare, you know, like we'd have a Bible table, a long counter, that when you compared this so many times, I mean, people would choose the Life Application over any other study Bible out there. It was just that good. I'm going to give you the size comparison with the Premier. The Premier is one of the best sized Bibles. So you can kind of see, okay, yeah, the Premier is going to be smaller. It's thinner. It's about the same height, probably identically the same height. But it's probably maybe a quarter of an inch in width less, and in thickness a little bit less. It's noticeably thinner in my hand. Yeah, quite a bit thinner. So let's go to, we've given you the introductions and a lot of the things. Let's go to the middle of the Bible and see if there's any changes in the middle of the Bible. When I say changes, I mean more information. Yeah, see, there's just a lot. See, even in Malachi, I'll show you before we get to the center of the Bible. I mean, when you're writing this many notes about Malachi, you're doing a pretty complete job. I was talking to Dave and Bruce, and they said the Life Application and all of its iterations and all of its languages has sold 55 million. And they've even come out with their own commentary series, the Life Application commentary series, just all kinds of stuff. So let's see how much, not a lot in between the testaments, the time between the testaments. But see, it's so compacted together in there. It's amazing. Let's see what the print size is in this guy. It is See, it looks like the notes are a very clear 8-point print. And let's see. It looks like the text may be a tad over 8-point, like maybe 8 1/4. The text of the Bible is noticeably clearer to me. It's noticeably larger. It is not red letter. I'll just give you another example of notes and then also the maps changing direction when Jesus would move, from place to place. Usually it's going to change with the maps as well. Maps are going to let you see that, which is just so valuable. I'm also going to, I just happen to have down here an original Life Application Bible. So we'll let you see comparison. The original does look somewhat thinner, which is to be expected if they put 30% more information in there. We'll let you do a comparison internally as well, just as far as print size. Maybe you've got the Life app and you're thinking about upgrading. Let's see, I'm going to see if the page numbers are correct. Congruent, I don't think they are. But I could be very wrong about that. 15, 32. It's going to be close. That would be amazing if the page numbers are congruent. No, not quite. But it looks to me like, well, I'll just let you see. The print in the newer one is obviously darker. I'll leave that up for just a little while. So the third edition, so that's good. It's almost like a totally new study Bible. I appreciate them. They're making much progress in Bible papers, Bible printing. So you're able to just fit a little more in smaller space. They're taking a lot more care with the print size. They're really just perfecting the art of Bible printing. for mass production. Now we just need to pray, Lord, the harvest, send forth laborers into his harvest, that it'll go around the world. Wouldn't it be good, there's 7.8 billion people in the world or something, if you had the money to give every one of them a Bible? Wouldn't that just be good? And could get with the governments, get a UN, NGO going, Let's see, I'm just going to see when this one was printed. If we can find it pretty quickly. Let's see here. This is a 1989 editions. And it even says, gratefully acknowledges the role of Youth for Christ USA in preparing it. So that's, I mentioned it was originally for youth. And that is that there. So it's not red letter. Boy, just so much good stuff in here. Let's see what's at the back. What we're going to get to in the back. Christian Workers Resource, which that reminds me of the old Thomas Nelson Christian Workers guide. How to become a Christian, God created you. How to follow up with a new believer. So all that harkens back, taking the step to application of the Bible, to, especially old Nelson Bibles were just filled with that kind of stuff. The Christian Life Study Bible, and then just a lot of their Bibles would have question and answers. I don't believe, I'm an atheist, and then how do you respond? They were very practical in that sense. So that's good. Let's see how many total pages this is before we get to the maps. It's pretty big. It's 2,463 pages. So that has a daily reading plan and then a master index. So let's read what the master index is, because it's obviously more than a concordance. This is an index to the notes, charts, maps, and personality profiles in the Life Application Bible. Okay. So I'm looking like circumcision, running away. Good size print, which is, concordances. Sometimes there'll be giant print Bibles with minuscule print concordances. I've never quite followed that reasoning. So this actually has very good size print. And here is the Tyndale maps. Let's see if we can get you a good one. Of course, nobody's going through any water during the Exodus. Most Bible maps don't. That is just such a shame. So let's measure this. Let's see just how big this thing is. I'm going to guess it's somewhere about 9 1/4 by 6 1/4 by 2 1/4. Now let's get the exact measurements. It is actually about 6.6. That's a little wider than I thought. It doesn't feel that wide. By 9.4 by 2 1/16. So I missed on my guess. The Life Application Study Bible, 3rd edition, hardback. It's going to come in the whole plethora of different leathers. This happens to be the NIV. And it says, the Life App comes currently 3rd edition in the NIV and the NLT, which the NLT is Tyndale property. And then the previous edition also comes in the KJV, New King James, Holman Christian Standard, which is out of print, and the New American Standard. So I'm assuming they'll be coming out with a CSB maybe of this at some point. Maybe not. Maybe there's copyrights involved. We don't know. So this is a Bible for the notes. I highly recommend. I'm not real good on this translation. I don't like translation. But the notes are phenomenal. And you can learn a lot from the notes. Talk with you later. God bless you in Jesus' name.